we're just gonna have a little conversation, so don't
Okay.
worry so much about the video cameras over there.
Okay.
We're just eavesdropping on
Okay.
our little.
I do want to turn my phone off. I'm
That's
gonna
a
make
good
sure
idea.
that is off, because that would not be appropriate.
And you know somebody's always gonna call you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
When you don't want them to.
of course.
I know, that's what my kids don't call me unless it's like a police emergency. Or blood, you know?
Mom, I already called the police.
Yeah.
Now I'm calling you.
Yeah. Actually, I gave them the number for the desk
Okay.
if it's a real emergency, so 'cause I'm not gonna pay attention to my phone.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So, Dr. Cabow's, you're rebranding the office.
Okay.
I see you work with Leslie too.
I have, yes.
Right. So they're rebranding, they're gonna be calling it the Signature Diabetes Institute,
Okay.
SDI. So I'll be saying SDI,
Okay.
but it's still the same
Okay.
people that you've been working with, so you can feel free to say their names, it's fine.
Okay.
But we're, just working on the rebranding, so you'll hear me say that as I'm asking you different questions,
Okay.
all right? I'm gonna ask you questions based on your experience before you started coming here,
Okay.
and then since you've been coming, and then I'll ask you some questions about how you see your future health.
Okay.
You saw you reviewed this a little
Yes.
bit. Are there any questions that you specifically want me to ask you?
I mean, I'm comfortable with any of them, whatever
Okay.
you guys need.
So I was thinking about, was diabetes impacting your life?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
And then you can elaborate on that then,
Okay.
and then it was affecting you financially.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, kind of. It's not, well, I guess I can talk about what happened recently.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just basically walk through the process of, like, kind of a little bit more in depth, whether, so in the beginning, how was it affecting you in your daily life?
Okay.
And then also, what we do want to dive into is, like, when you were pregnant and
Sure.
how that was, and your treatment here, and how you kept in touch, and what was done, and all of that. So it's just kind of walk down the path of where you were,
Okay.
where you are, and where you want to be.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Like sometimes when you have some chronic condition, there's multiple doctor's appointments, more co-pays,
Mm.
expenses like that.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I feel bad kind of talking about that because I really do have. I mean,
Yeah, good
besides what I
insurance.
went through, yeah, I have really good insurance. I mean,
That's okay.
You don't-
I joke with the ladies like I'm like, that's why I'm never getting divorced. My husband's really insurance.
So we don't have to, like, necessarily, like, focus on
Okay.
like what
The
insurance you
financial
have. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it still could be a burden to your family if you're
Sure.
spending money on things
Okay.
other than for your family or for yourself, and on your diabetes instead.
Okay.
Then that's you know what I mean. It doesn't
Alright.
have to be just because you have good insurance. You don't have the same struggle that everybody else has.
Okay.
Yeah, there's other things. You have children.
Yeah.
Did you have to get more childcare or, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean,
when it wasn't
of course.
managed and
Yeah.
when you're
Personal
having
base,
issues.
especially during the pregnancies, and that's
Mhm.
been, that was always rough. So.
Okay. Because we're just saying, like, when you have it managed,
Mhm.
these are some things that are
Sure.
better.
Okay.
Things that improve in your life. It's not just the fact that your numbers are good. Other
Right.
things are impacted
Okay.
when things aren't doing well for you. I'll ask you a question about tools that you learned
Okay.
with your doctor and dietitian. The biggest difference in your life since working with them, like relationships, family, work. Do you work too?
No, I'm a stay-at-home mom now.
Okay. So relationships, family, and fun.
Right. Yeah.
And then for how you feel about your future health, do you feel better about your future health?
Sure. Yeah.
And would you recommend friends and family?
I have.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Awesome.
So I think those are good questions.
Yeah.
Based on reading a little bit about your experience.
Okay.
So do you want to go over like one question at a time, and then what we'll do is like then the next question before we actually get the full answer for it.
We'll warm up for it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then that way you can kind of gather what you want to say and what you want to, like, maybe if you need help kind of putting it all together, we can
Okay.
help you with that.
That sounds fair.
And if you need a break, you can just like do a thumbs up
Okay.
or something like that.
We're gonna be like It's
I'm
okay
just
if I
gonna
do
let
in the
it.
middle.
It's okay. I'm just gonna let it roll constantly, and then we
Okay.
can just edit it out from there. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter. You'll be
Okay.
fine.
All right.
All right, you got it.
Oh, we're recording. Okay, then we probably got some good stuff already.
Oh, okay.
So, hold on a second. So Christina,
Hi.
hi. Based on your experience before coming to SDI, was diabetes impacting your life?
It was. I was actually misdiagnosed by a family doctor. I was told I was a type 2. So I struggled with that for 2 or 3 years. And of course, not feeling well, not having good blood sugars. I finally went to a different family doctor who ran the appropriate tests, and I was diagnosed as a type 1, and then I was immediately referred to Dr. Cavalli. And we're going to have to take a second because
That's
my pump
okay.
is going off. Excuse me 1 second.
I was wondering if that's what it was.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
but I
my
was
insulin pump, of course, like the most appropriate time, right? Sorry. So should I start over or just
like,
keep
no,
going?
just keep it on. You're fine.
So I was immediately referred here, and my first appointment was with Dr. Cavalli, and I went on insulin pens immediately and started my care with him, and then he referred me to Leslie, and she went over nutrition and carb counting, and that's how I started at this office. So.
Okay. So when you started coming to the SDI center, they were giving you the tools that you needed.
Yeah, I was 20-something years old and had no idea what this disease was, so I got all of my knowledge and everything that I do today from the people that I have here.
Are there some specific things that they worked with you on that really were impactful?
Yeah, every time I come, we're talking about how I'm eating.
Mhm.
Definitely the amount of exercise I'm getting. I know something that I struggle with is making sure that I test and giving myself insulin when I need it.
Mhm.
It's a constant struggle every day to have to do those extra steps when life is just going on around you. So we're always talking about those things and how to make those things easier and just a normal part of your daily routine. So those are some important things that we talk about for me.
And I hear you're a pretty busy lady.
I am. I am. I have 3 little boys. So, as with most moms, they're first. And so that is a constant, struggle to put my health and my care up there and making time for that while, still having them number one and, their needs are going to get taken care of, and then I have to work in mine too. So, and if I don't, then I can't keep up with them, and that's hard because they are busy.
Oh yes, I imagine with 3 boys.
3 boys, yeah.
Now you had some experience with diabetes during your pregnancy. Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah, I actually love telling this story because I had such a positive pregnancy as a type 1 diabetic, and I think a lot of women don't get this story. My husband and I decided that we wanted to start a family. First thing we did was call Dr. Cavalli, and he came in. We said, we want to start a family, what's our steps? And he said, let's get you on a pump and a continuous glucose monitor. Everybody in that, I talk about my team a lot when I tell people this story, because everybody worked as a team. I got my insulin pump, my CGM. I was in with Leslie for training within a month. And I'll never forget that when I came in, when I said I want to have children, Dr. Cavalli and Leslie were both positive. They said, okay, this is what we need to do to make this happen so that you have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby. And that was in contrast to what other medical professionals had said to me, and what I hear from other women that are in a similar situation. You right away hear about the negative things, any birth defects, how they're harder pregnancies, and I just didn't get that here. I got people who were going to make sure I had all the knowledge and all the tools to make sure I had healthy babies, and I did. So I got my insulin pump, and Leslie trained me on the insulin pump and the continuous glucose monitor, and within a month I was pregnant, and I had,
wow.
yeah, I did not have any trouble. And I had my first, I had 3 wonderful pregnancies. I would tell people all the time, if everybody had pregnancies like those, they're lucky, because easy. My A1Cs were great. They were, I think my lowest with my first was 5.9, which is great, and I think my highest was like 6.3 or something during my pregnancy. So really good A1Cs. I was constantly in contact with the office, whether it was downloading my information, coming in for visits. So I had constant care and constant support on how I should be doing things, if I need to change things. So I had really good experiences being pregnant, and I have always said that that's because of this team that we have here.
So you really got the support that you needed.
Yes, I felt very supported. I felt very listened to. I don't know if I remember writing a letter to Leslie after my first pregnancy. It was probably the hormones, because I was in tears, and just thanking her, because, like I said, you don't often hear stories of, pregnant type 1 diabetics and them feeling that safe. And I never really felt like I had to be afraid for my child or for me. So they were just good experiences. I wouldn't trade them for the world. So, and I got 3 beautiful, rambunctious little boys out of it. So, and they were all healthy, no NICU, nothing. So, yeah, good. It was nothing but a positive story. So
It's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that.
thanks.
Yeah. What is the biggest difference in your life since working with SDI, your doctor and dietitian here?
I guess the biggest difference in my life is just being healthy. I mean, before I started coming here, I was tired. And I mean, when I say tired, I mean, couldn't do anything. I wasn't able to excel at work because I was so tired. I needed, I was late. Didn't have the energy to run around. And now I have the energy to, keep up with, 3 little kids on a hockey rink, on a basketball court. So I have energy now. I think things that, like, going on an insulin pump, I think, has been a huge life changer. And I got a lot of support with that through here, and I think that's probably been the best thing for me. So.
Okay. And I want to ask you a few questions about your future health.
Okay.
All right. Do you feel better about your future health now that you've been coming here to SDI?
I do. Yeah, I do, of course. I've been here, I feel like 14 years, and it just keeps getting better and better. My numbers keep getting better. And so I only see good things in my future for my health. Yeah.
Do you have any dreams or goals for your future that you wouldn't have even thought about before?
Yeah, I mean, a dream is having a constant A1C of around 6. I mean, that's something that I'm always working towards, and it gets closer and closer to that every day. Something I'm working on now is being more physical, and I'm able to do that because I feel good. and I'm doing a 5K in October. So
Oh, a 5K.
yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try it. I'm not saying I'm gonna finish it. So yeah, so that's in my near future something that I'm looking forward to accomplish. So hopefully, you know, like I said, I can get through it.
But you're thinking about it.
Yeah,
And you're
signed
planning
up.
for it.
Yeah, all signed up. So
That's big.
yeah.
Yeah. And do you recommend your friends and family to SDI?
I absolutely do. Not only people I know, but oftentimes in neighborhood forums on things like Facebook, on social media, when people ask for doctors, I've always jumped right in and referred this office. So I would suggest anybody come here.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Is
you.
there anything that we didn't cover that you would like to share?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I feel good. Yeah. I want to check my hair on the video.
Don't we all feel the same
I
way?
know.
You look gorgeous.
It looks
Thank
good. There's
you.
no flyaways, nothing.
Okay,
We're good.
good.
Yeah.
And the colors are your everything is perfect.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you.
So well with the wall.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
So when I talked to her yesterday, she goes, well, I told her not to wear green because of what you said. She goes, oh, I just bought a green top. But I bought a mauve one too, so we're good. I'll wear the mauve one.
I swear, I'm like in the store and I'm like, oh, this green looks really good on me because not many greens look good on my
Yeah.
skin
Well, you
color.
have a tan now, so.
Right, I
you're
know.
good.
So I was like, I really love this, and I got home and I'm like, I'm gonna bring both shirts with me just in case. And then you call it, I'm like, thank God I bought this shirt too.
Right.
It goes,
The guy who took my son's passport picture, he said, don't wear green. And my son had wore green. I'm like, look, I told you not to wear green because I don't like green, and something does, you know, I don't know what. And he wore green. I'm like, the guy made such a horrible face, and he showed me, you know, passport picture takers in Walgreens or whatever. They're not like the most
Because it's a
enthusiastic.
similar background anyway, because you have just a
No,
white
they
wall.
have white, and
Yeah,
then
that's what I mean.
yeah. So he's like, look how it bleeds into all the stuff.
is that what it does? It
Yeah,
bleeds
and,
in?
Wow.
and he said, look, I have to spend 5 minutes extra, and he was grumbling. So I'm like, okay, so don't wear green. So.
Good. Well, I'm so glad that you called because I was like, when you said that, I'm like, of course.
I was like jogging my memory to try and remember everything that I needed to tell you. And don't wear green.
Oh yeah, of course. As soon as you said that, I laughed because I was like, of course, that's what I think. Of course.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
You did great.
Oh, thanks. All those